So you may recognise this thing, differential part, and unfortunately I put this thing back together and then I had a bit of a think about it, and I wasn't happy with the gears, the way the bushes had worn and the wear on them, and I didn't really pay much attention when I put it back together. I rushed too much, but I decided to go with some new sun gears, I think some people call them. So let me pop this off, and then we're going to have to rejig all of this again. Torquing this up was a nightmare if I recall, so let's get all these off, get the new gears out the pack, get them in, and get the top back on, torque it back up, and get the bearing on, and then hopefully I can forget about this thing. Alright, let's have another look inside here, and typical, all the gears are there. Alright. Come on, out you come. I mean, they're not badly worn there, especially that one. But it's one of those things, I've gone to this effort and I'd be thinking about this all the time. Right, there we go, there's one guy out. And that one should pop out. Pretty easy. It's all getting a bit tight on this workbench at the moment. I've got about 8 jobs on the go at one time. Right. Let's get him out as well. You can just feel where it's worn. That's not so bad. I mean, that might be machined like that. It's not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be, so that's a bit of a let off there. Just need to clean up mine. A bit of mush there. Right, let me clean this up before I put it back together. Right, so I've given that a clean up, and the other part as well, and again I'm going to put the thrust washer back in. These are shimmed as well, so there are different thicknesses. Depends how much you want to balance it. I'm hoping I'm going to be pretty close to the tolerances that I need with that one supplied. So next up we need, first of all I need to get rid of the old gears so I know which part's which. I just need to recover all the copper thrusters off here. They're brand new, so I'm reusing those. So hopefully in here we've got some of the replacement parts. This is the HD thrust pin. It's an all-in-oneer. And I'm not sure which way around that goes. It's interesting. It's definitely got 2 sides to it. It's got like a milled out side. I'll have to check that. I'm not going to put him in properly because he gets stuck pretty easy, but that's that. Brand new shiny gears. I like the look of those. Let me get one half together and then I'll compare it to one of the old ones. Alright. This is going to be oiled up with the EP oil. I'll get this guy in here, chuck it in the vise. Again, that'll all get oiled up properly once I'm happy with it all going together. Oh, that's tight. Right. That is tight. There's absolutely no play whatsoever when you're putting it in. Next up, the actual sun gear. Right, well I'm figuring out what's going on with that chamfered part. I'm going to go and put this bearing in the oven. Race back, keep it clean. I'm going to go put this in the oven for 15-20 minutes and hopefully it'll slide on when I come back to assembly. Here we go. I've done a bit of research and apparently these chamfers are to allow the oil to get round, which kind of makes sense. So I think they go down. I don't think it really matters which way around they go, I wouldn't think, but on videos and pictures I've seen they always face down into the shorter one, so I'm going with that. So let me get all these put together. And you go, I've lost a copper bush at the moment. Almost back together, a little bit fiddly. And I'm pretty sure, just check that's down. And a bit of jiggling, goes in pretty easy actually. And it's quite smooth. A little bit noisy because it needs oiling, so I'm going to oil all this bit up before I put the top back on. So that's just a bit of oil. I don't have an oil can, believe it or not. It's currently got gearbox oil in, so I can't do it. But I'm just going to feed a bit of this over. Needs a bit more than that. Alright, that's not bad. Next up, we're going to bolt it down and then torque it down. These are all oiled up already. It's recommended you do get a bit of oil on those. So let's get them all in. Right. That's not gonna go. Right, all torqued up. Alright, make sure it's clean. Next up, just want to check this bushing on it to see it's not loose. No, that's tight as a drum. Okay, next up, it may look a little bit chaotic, but I do have a plan. And this is the matching ratio change gear in order to make it work. So we need to do away with him, put him in. It's a new one, but there's not much difference really. I can't believe how little difference there is. Anyway, let's get the main gear on. No bearing, just runs as it runs. That's big. Alright, I think I finally got this thing on. It's tight though. It's going to need a bit of encouragement. Right. I think that's home. I'm not 100%. Right. The selector is good. New gear with the bushing. It's going to need lubricating a bit. Go on, man. On you go. Good. That's all good. Give it a little. Next up, I've got the bearing heating, so I'll go run and get him, and we'll get him slopped on the top. Come on you go. Alright. going slowly. Oh, it's still got a long way to go. It's cooling down. Just a case of working it all the way around and keep going. I'm not happy. Oh, it's nearly there. I'll be relieved when this one's on, I'll tell you that. That's a better sound. Yeah, I think that's home. Yeah. Yeah, no play there whatsoever. Good, happy with that one. I just need to get the special nut on the top of there, and then that's pretty good progress for the day. So next up we have the new stake nut. I'm pretty sure it goes that way around. It looks as though that's some kind of Loctite on there. I think it goes that way, must be, yeah. Fairly certain it's that way. So this needs to be torqued up to 72 Newton meters, which is pretty tricky to do on this thing. Right, let me get set up. Right, good, that's that done. Now it needs a bearing putting on the bottom end, which I don't have at the moment. I'm waiting for that to be delivered. So I'm going to wrap this up, keep it all clean. It's all good, it's all tight. I like it. I like that a lot. So finally my bearings arrived, so I can finish this. This is let's hope they've got the right one. It's got a slightly different code on the end. I guess that's just the manufacturing year. Right, let me go get the bearing in the oven to get this thing heated up this time. I trashed the last one, that's why I've been waiting for this one. I trashed the other one trying to use a hydraulic press to put it on. Ended up damaging the cage, so, and I wouldn't care, it's the most expensive one. The first one I put on, the most expensive one, and the largest of all of them, and I managed to break it. So I'm heating it this time. I was a little bit cocky last time, so a bit more caution this time. Let's get him heated up. So I'm set up this time. I'm going to use, this is the new old bearing, if that makes sense, the one I trashed. So I figure that'll get down far enough to knock the new one on, and I should then be able to pull that off somehow or tap it off. I think that'll work. I reckon I'll get that low enough. Just trying different combinations here. I think that'll work. I'm not going to use a press this time because it went on at a weird angle, I think, and I find if you get them heated up enough, and then I'm going to tap it down with this thing and a hammer, and that's how I did the bottom one. It seemed to work pretty well. So sometimes a press, even though they are handy, they just don't work as well, and you get a better feel with the hand tools. So that's the plan. Just waiting for that thing to warm up now. I've lightly oiled the surfaces to give it a fighting chance of sliding on. Anything that'll help this one go on. This was the tightest of all of them, so fingers crossed we can get this thing sorted out. Alright, stand back, here we go. That is hot to trot. Come on. I want you going straight on, no messing. It's going. Go on. Perfect, absolutely textbook. Brilliant. I was worried about that one after stuffing the last one up, but heating it has made a huge amount of difference. So final job almost on this thing is to stake the actual nut that we put on earlier. Once you're happy that all your tolerances are correct, you have to look those up in the manual. I'm not going to go through those, but generally what you do, you take it out of gear and you check the tolerances on this side, put it in the other gear and check the tolerances on that side. That makes sense. So mine are all okay. I'm going to stake this if I can. Alright, that'll do. This thing is now ready to go on once I put the guide on there. Next up, the selector. You need to check this thing for tolerances. I'm just looking at mine, it's a bit flattened off there. It's probably meant to be like that. But just make sure all of these are the correct tolerance. You can sort of do it by visual inspection as well. Some of these are absolutely horrendously misshapen. It should just be a nice smooth groove where the ball bearing sits in for selection. Again, tolerances on this you need to check, and also on the actual selector ring here. Well, mine looks pretty good. Happy with all of that, and he'll need to go on here, and we slide all of that unit in to the main casing in one go.